feel like now we're there. Okay. Am I still muted? Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, how's everyone doing? Hi, Huvian. Hi, Diane. I guess that's how you say your name. How's it going? Is everyone here for the beginner music production club? Is that what we're here for? Just want to double check. Just in case you're in the wrong classroom, got to make sure that we're all in the right place. All right, let me change where this chat box goes. A little smaller. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Oh, okay. So Diane, you're not necessarily here for the the class. Okay, no worries. Thank you, Hubian, for subscribing again. I'm excited to start streaming again. Okay, I'm a little disappointed because a lot of the students that I had organized this for aren't here yet. So let me go ahead and go live on TikTok also so we can let everyone know that. So I forgive me for starting a little bit late. Class is supposed to be in session. Huvian, are you interested in music production? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Britmiss, for subscribing. Britmiss, are you here for our beginner production club? All right, nice. Okay, very cool. Yay. Okay. No, you don't, Diane. You don't have to leave. Absolutely not. I'm just afraid that it'll be a little bit boring for you. You don't have to leave at all. Okay. Let's see. Britmiss, I think we're waiting on a few others. We'll give them maybe like five minutes ish to come through, and if not, then we'll go ahead and start. Where can I move this to not be so? Maybe I should change how many lines. 5 lines. Said Alyssa can't make it today, so I'm gonna send her my notes. Okay, she was the one with me. Spoke about you. Okay, got you. I'm sorry that Alyssa isn't able to be here. What's going on? What's going on? What's this? Oh ho ho, Diane. Ah, that's why you're following me. Okay, got it. That's funny. Alright, we'll begin very shortly. Oh, thank you for the follow, Britmiss. Okay. Let's see how we can... I don't know how to edit this. Can I make this so it's not so... Always show messages 5. I like 5. I guess these are just bigger than I thought. It's been... Okay. Britmiss, I'm gonna send the link to my Discord really quick. So if we ever need to talk in person, I'm thinking... Oh, thank you, Diane. Thank you for the I think those are called bits. That's the link to my Discord. If you don't have that, that's fine. I think it'll be easier for us to communicate as a class. Oh, thank you, Huvian. To interact as a class through Discord. Because we can actually talk to each other and share screens like this. So the walkthroughs might be a little easier. Because right now I can't hear you or anything like that. Okay, let's see. Britness, if you can get Discord and join it, let me know. Because I want to hop on Discord and actually talk to you. If you're the only person in here that's going to be. Okay, cool. Got it. Did you see the link up there? I just sent it. Oh, there's no prerequisite to joining the club. You just have to be interested in music production and you're starting at a beginner level. That's the only prerequisites for the club. We got the idea a couple days ago when I was going live on TikTok, so that's why we're doing that. Okay, message Discord. Okay, cool. Boom, boom, general. Okay, hi Britmiss. Okay, Britmiss, do you mind meeting me in one of the voice channels? Can we do community hangout or something like that? Is that okay with you? Hi Dandy. Okay, cool. Let's do community hangout. Okay, hello. Can I hear you? Can you hear me?
Hello? I think you're muted on Discord.
Oh, okay. I barely hear you.
Oh, there you go. I
But
got you
that's
now.
okay. I think it might just be me. Okay, this is so exciting. All right, let's freaking learn. Are you ready?
Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me? Maybe you can't hear me. Maybe
Oh.
this is the issue.
Um, I can hear you through the Twitch stream, but not through Discord. You're not coming up in Discord either. It doesn't have the green circle around your
Oh.
name,
Okay,
which
I can
means
hear
you're
you
not
though. So I
picking up
think
in Discord.
that's
So I'm just hearing you like delayed on Twitch.
mm, let me mute this.
Yeah.
We're going to figure this out. I also hear the delay. Testing.
I'm on Discord a lot. I stuff, so it's like
Okay, settings.
when you talk, the little green circle comes. Yeah, yeah. That'll do it. That'll do it.
This is hilarious. Why don't I hear? I'll mute myself on Discord so I can hear you and then you can hear me through Twitch just so we can sort of get started, or I don't know if we have the patience to go through and try to iron this out.
Okay. The delay is like very.
Oh, okay. I see what's going on. That's set. Oh, it's set to this. Okay, hold up. Okay, I think I figured it out. Did I figure it out? Okay, is there a delay still?
Yeah, since I'm hearing you through the Twitch stream and
I'm
still not
terrible at
Discord. It says you're
technology.
muted
I'm
on
just gonna
Discord.
making. Okay.
Gotta click.
Oh, unmute. Test. Test. Is it working again? Are we good? Okay, is there
No,
delay?
I still only hear you through the stream. If you try to go to Discord voice settings, yeah, the delay, yeah.
I suck at this.
I need to hear you through Discord for there to not be a delay. You just click the wheel and then voice settings, and then I understand though, because like you've probably got like a bajillion things plugged in for the purpose of teaching this. And Discord is really, really angsty when you have multiple like audio ins.
Oh, someone is talking? What's going on here?
Me. Probably.
Oh, hi. Okay, what if I do this?
Hi.
Test? Dang it.
I hear you test. But it's like, so it's like, when you look at yourself in the community hangout, when I'm talking, do you see the green circle?
Yes.
Like when I'm talking. Okay, cool. So yeah, so that means I'm coming through. But you should also have a green circle when you're talking.
Okay. So I think the issue is here when I have FL Studio loaded, um this is the only sound source for this mic at the moment. So is there a way for Discord to uh get the input from FL Studio? I don't know.
Should be able to. Yeah, you should be able to just click the wheel at the bottom where it says user settings.
Yeah.
And then go to voice and video, and then in input device, it should be there. In that drop down.
Yeah. I'm not sure. So like with FL Studio, in order for Twitch to capture the audio, I have to send the audio to like an external source, which I'm using my monitor for. And then now Twitch is capturing that input from the monitor in order to hear me and have FL Studio open at the same time. So I'm trying to think if.
Oh, okay. You could probably like if you're being recorded on Twitch, that means you don't really need to be recorded on Discord, which means the sound quality can probably be worse on Discord, which means can you turn it just to like a computer default setting or something?
Okay, if I did like.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm wondering.
Okay.
Brainstorming here.
Yeah, right? Is this doing anything? Well, now I can't hear you anymore. And if I do this, Twitch can hear me.
I don't.
If I do this.
I'm looking at settings.
Dang it. Okay, this doesn't seem like it's gonna work. I think you have two options.
We will just attempt the delay. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, why don't we go ahead and start then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Very nice to meet you.
So that you can still hear me though.
Oh, what was that?
I was gonna say I'll stay in the Discord chat so that you can hear me speaking.
Okay.
Just give me a couple seconds.
Is it alright if I mute myself on Discord so that you're just hearing me through Twitch?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Cool. Then I muted myself on Discord. Okay. All right. And then also, we're going to figure this out another time. Totally ironed out. Because I think also when Britmiss tries to speak to me.
I'm sure it'll be a work in progress.
Yeah. It's coming through right now, my laptop speaker, so I can't even hear you in my headphones, which is, but okay. We'll get this to work. Anyways, so Britmiss, it's nice to meet you. So happy that you were able to attend our first session of Beginner Music Production Club. I would first like to ask you a couple questions. Is that all right?
Me too. Yeah, that's totally okay.
Okay, cool. I also got to get used to the lag of conversation. Awesome. Okay, first question is, what DAW are you... Actually, before that, what's your history with music? What's your experience?
was gonna say you just said an acronym that I don't know what is. So my history with music is that I've been singing since I was like 8. I like went into a random room when I was in the 3rd grade and they were singing, and I was like, I'll sing with you, and then I accidentally auditioned for choir. Uh, Fast forward however many 28 whatever years whatever. I have done a whole bunch of stuff. I majored in film music composition at Oberlin Conservatory. Sung with Herbie Hancock, Stevie Wonder, Chick Corea. Did a bunch of jazz stuff there. Um, but again, I did most of my composing and writing by hand. I'm very bad at technology.
That's so cool. It sounds like you have a ton of experience. That's actually a ton. That's more experience than I have, which is incredible. Which is really cool. I'm not saying I have a lot of experience. I'm just saying that's amazing that you have so much experience. And then, I guess my next question would be along the lines of like,
I feel like with our experience combined, we'll be able to do some good stuff.
oh, absolutely, so cool, so cool. My next question would be, let's think. Um, what kind of music are you interested in making? Do we have an idea?
God, I kind of just want to. I've always just done like composition for vocal, piano, and guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and I've written music before, and I've recorded it terribly before with my lack of button skills. So I would really just like to get better at like fleshing out recording harmonies and fleshing out like when you're recording voices in different spaces and like acoustics and stuff like that.
Oh, so cool. Okay, okay. I'm really liking where this is going. Um, so I guess let's start at the very beginning before we do any vocals and stuff like that. Um, where are we getting our sounds from before we start writing and like recording? Or I guess it could be either or, before or after. But what's our sound source for a lot of our music? Not just vocals, but like instruments, drums, or whatever the case. Where's that coming from?
Oh, that's mainly guitar, piano. Probably like number one guitar, number two piano, but that's only because I don't have a keyboard right now.
Okay. Electric or acoustic piano? Or sorry, guitar.
Oh, I have both.
Okay, both.
But I am not very good at playing lead guitar, but I do have two guitars. Yes.
Okay, so cool. And then is it you say you don't have a keyboard, so I'm assuming your piano is acoustic.
No, no, I don't have any right now. This is like this struggling, starving artist who is now making board games. I don't have any sort of piano-related instrument currently,
Mhm.
but I'm hoping to get one soon because my old one I had to sell to pay student loans.
Oh, wow. Hey, you'll get it back. You'll get it back. Okay. So I think that gives us a good baseline
Yeah,
of where we're
I
at.
know that I will. I'm just like biding my time.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So I mentioned the acronym DAW earlier, and that's just like some fancy schmofo whatever acronym. It just stands for digital audio workstation or something like that. Just software or program. So for example, like on Twitch, I have open FL
Oh.
Studio, which is my DAW, right? My digital audio workstation. So do you have something equivalent of the sorts in terms of a program that you work in to record your vocals and stuff like that?
Yes. I use Logic Pro. I mostly used to use GarageBand, but I graduated myself to Logic Pro a couple years ago when I started working at Apple, and you could get Logic for free.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. That's fantastic. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, okay, that's great. I have pretty like conversational knowledge when it comes to logic. Basically like a baby figuring out how to actually get through things. So I'm excited to start going through this. Okay, so we have a electric and acoustic guitar, which is our main sound source for the music portion of our songs before we start recording vocals and stuff. How are we recording those guitars? Let's start with the electric first. How are we recording the electric?
Oh, you mean I?
Mm-hmm. This is where like my train of thought's starting to go.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
I have a what's it called?
you have a Focusrite, the little red box.
Oh, it's a Focusrite Scarlet.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, but it's got 4 inputs. Like I want to say it's like 818 or
Ooh,
something.
yeah, you got the fancy one. I got the 2i2. It has two, just two of them. Very cool.
Like, yeah. So like, listen, like I I I have many like things that allow me to plug stuff in, but then once it's plugged in, that's the sound that it makes, and so that's the skill that I'm trying to learn. I don't
Ah,
know how to like make any additional sounds or enhance those sounds. I'm just like recording sounds that already exist.
okay. Forgive me for like starting off too basic. I just want to make sure all these checkpoints are um, solid going forward because
Oh no, no worries. That's like totally fair.
okay, I
Totally
appreciate
fair.
that. Just because a lot of times when we're unhappy or looking to improve with our sound, it's usually something that's all the way at that beginning stage that we're missing out on, which is why I'm just trying to go incrementally. Great. So why don't we start at the Focusrite, which is the most important. So I'm assuming you're connecting.
Honestly, I truly appreciate it.
Okay.
It's always good to make sure we all know what the heck is going on before we jump too far forward.
Absolutely. I'm making the assumption that you're recording your electric guitar direct input, just cable to box. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. Recording electric guitar direct input. I actually also do my acoustic direct input because I have a pickup,
Very nice.
like a removable pickup.
Very cool. Okay. Um, I guess first question that we're gonna start really diving into how to get a good quality sound out of our recordings is where is your gain set
Okay.
on your Focusrite?
Oh lordy. Okay, usually somewhere towards the low end. I don't know exactly. Let me go grab it. It's in my closet.
Okay. Yes, go grab it. These are the small things that are very important, make or break a recording. Yes, Diane, I am drinking tea.
Hang on, I have to remember when I told you on the stream the other day, or not, yeah, what that I make board games.
Yes.
So I'm in my work office right now, and my closet is the top half is all the board games that I've made, and the bottom half is all of my music stuff. So please don't mind me while I dig through board games.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I'll entertain the crowd while we wait. Thank you everyone for being a part of this, by the
Thank
way.
you.
It's really cool to see a lot of us interested in learning more about music production. Do a flip. I'm dead. You know, I actually tried to do a flip at one point, and I ended up falling on my neck. So that's not going to happen ever again. Unfortunately. Yeah, I know. I was an athlete.
Shit. What? Are you okay?
Yeah, it was when I was a kid, and I jumped. I tried to do a backflip on a bed. So it's not like I like got seriously injured when I landed on my neck. I just like compressed and then like came out. It was fine. I was a very limber kid. Actually, I remember this is how limber I was. I joined gymnastics, and the very first day I could do both the side split and front split. So that's how limber I was.
What? Dang.
Nice, Diane. Nice pun. Solid pun.
I'm almost to the thing, by the way.
You're good. Yeah, take your time. There's no rush. No rush at all. Yeah. I think it's going to be super fun.
It's actually good because I'm moving soon, and I probably should have packed these games already. So maybe I won't put them back in the closet.
There's always, yeah, two birds, one stone, right? I think it's also funny. I'm just talking to like the chat or
Okay,
whatever.
I'm pulling out. I'm close to it. I've got my two mics.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I think it's also funny how people like when people associate feelings with music, it's always like stardom and like it's always a super cool thing. And then what the best part about it, I feel like the most rewarding part is like as really successful musicians and artists, there's so much engineering and like nerdy stuff that goes into it that's super super fun and that creates all of that magic that people don't really get to appreciate or dive into on a daily basis. Oh hey Felix, no worries. We're just barely starting, so you haven't missed much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Welcome to class.
Okay, so I got
Welcome to
my
club.
focus right. As you know, there aren't really any numbers besides 0 and 10, but my first three inputs are at around what probably looks like maybe a 3.
Okay.
And for some reason, my last one is on a 7. But I think that's because I was recording my electric guitar to do some sort of rocky thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Here we go. So a lot of this is going to be
But
conceptual.
Yeah, mostly on like 3-ish.
Okay. A lot of this is going to be. Oh, it's Alyssa. Oh, okay. Alyssa's here. What's up? Okay, cool.
Alyssa made it?
Yeah, I see Alyssa right here. So that's what we're doing. All right. So a lot of the topics that we're gonna go through are going to be conceptual. So it'll be difficult for me to demonstrate them, but the terminology and the concepts are going to be applicable to anyone using any DAW, or in this case, any sort of preamp. All right, so first thing is when we are trying to gauge our gain, usually what I do is I start recording in my DAW and I just like strum or whatever on my guitar, whatever I'm trying to record. And I look at the waveform. Waveform is just the recording and how you see like loud parts and quiet parts and how they move in time, right?
Yeah, for you that's vertical, right? Logic, they're horizontal, but I think I see that yours is vertical.
Oh, yes. And let me go ahead and demonstrate really quick. Here, let's record something in FL Studio really fast. Okay, let's do it. So it goes. Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like. Okay, great. So if you're able to see that, I've just recorded a vocal take, right? And then when I enlarge it, we get to see our waveform. I think Logic shows it a little bit more blocky.
Yeah, that's what mine looks like.
Yeah. Great. So this is our waveform. And if you notice...
Yeah, I usually end up spreading them out.
Okay. If you notice, there's like a super tall peak over here on the left side, and then everything else is generally around the same size, right? This is our waveform. The thing that we want to avoid in establishing a healthy recording, and this is to get a good tone out of a guitar, right, is clipping. We want to avoid clipping, at least at this stage. So here would be an example of clipping. Everyone who's listening, be careful. I'm going to turn my gain up, so maybe turn your volume down for a moment, and we'll demonstrate what a clipping vocal take looks like, or any sort of recording looks like. Okay, be careful, everyone. Turn down your volumes. Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take to demonstrate what clipping looks like on a waveform. Okay, we're good. Everyone can return back to normal volume. Okay, so if we look at these two recordings, they look different. They look very different. The difference is, in our first recording, we have one peak touching the ceiling, right? And in our second recording, we actually have peaks going past the ceiling. Ceiling is represented just by this box, or you can also establish the ceiling on the actual waveform being the top and bottom where it shows. Is this making sense so far? Okay, fantastic. So the second example is what is called clipping. And the reason why I want to avoid that is because if you clip at the recording stage, you cannot undo it. Your recording is immediately basically ruined. It's like you burnt a cookie or something. You can't save it anymore, right? So we want to establish a healthy recording level. I'm going to go ahead and delete. Actually, I'll save that. So
Sounds good. Okay.
right. So when you're wanting to record an electric guitar, this is sort of the troubleshooting that we'll go through to see, okay, oh, it's a little too quiet. I have enough room to turn up the gain. Oh, okay, I turned it up too high. I'm clipping. Let me back it up a little bit. And then once you can play comfortably and it's at a healthy level, I think your gain is set well.
Sorry, I'm also taking notes.
As you
I'm
should.
Very serious note taker.
No, as you should. And we have all the time in the world, so I'm going to try to give as much information as you want. So also feel free at any point to ask questions to make sure that you're getting everything you want out of this first session. Don't let me just talk all over the place and explain stuff you don't even want to learn about. Okay, that's step one. Step one. Also, specific setting thing on the interface, this Focusrite. I have my direct input for my electric guitar set to line in. And I've seen sort of like wishy-washy opinions on this. A lot of people like to set it to instrument. And for me, that adds way too much fuzz. Or I guess way too much preamp. I don't know why. So I prefer to set it on line in. It gets rid of a lot of that extra
you mean
noise.
into like how it comes into Logic Pro?
I'm looking like at my Focusrite. So on the box itself, under, I don't know how it is for the 8i8 that you have, but for the 2i2, under the gain knob, there's like a silver side-to-side switch, and underneath it, on the left side it says line, and on the right side it says INST. Line in and instrument. I can also.
I don't have that.
Okay, let me look up what the 2i or the 8i8 looks like, so I can accurately explain this. Oh yeah, you don't. You don't have that. Okay. 8i8. That's nice. You don't have to worry about that. That's very good. That's one less thing you have to worry about. That's cool. Okay.
Yay.
Let me check.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have one, so there's nothing to worry about. Okay, never mind. Moving on. Okay, so we've established a healthy recording level in our gain. Also making sure that our guitar volume is all the way up before we mess with the gain, right? So we can dial that in. And then tone can be whatever you'd like. That's artistic choice. Alrighty. So now that we've established how to record into the DAW, now let's take it to the next step, which is how do we process this guitar? Does that sound okay? Whoops. I sure did. Okay, we're back. Okay.
That does sound okay.
Okay, cool. So, great. Okay. Conceptually, the three most like important things in music is levels, which is volume, and we've already sort of touched on that with the gain. Second thing is, I would just say balance in two ways. Let me go back and say this. Maybe just two things. Okay, I got it. Sorry. I guess the two main things are volume balance and then tonal balance. Those are the two major issues that people at a beginner level or at a professional level struggle with.
I think that's something that Sorry, I started thinking through my sentence. I think that's something that I am thinking about. I don't think I put the words on it, but for sure, yeah, those are the things where I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about this space and I'm thinking about like how everything sounds together and then how one thing sounds by itself and then also how the tones are blending together like a sandwich.
Yes. Sandwich is a great metaphor. I love that. Okay, then that brings us to our first point, which is EQ. I like that a lot. EQ is what's going to help us shape our tonal balance. So let me pull these down to vocals. Alrighty. And this is applicable to a guitar as well. I'm just using a vocal take here, but any waveform, including an electric guitar. So let's open up this EQ. And also let me know if I'm touching on something that we're already aware of. That way we can just scoot on to the next aspect.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. So, electric guitars are a mid-ranged instrument. What does that mean? And also, Andy, why should we, take what you say and believe you? Like, what's the point of that? Whatever, right? Okay, so here's the reasoning behind why I say it's a mid-ranged instrument. So, if we recorded an electric guitar, we would see on our EQ, and I think for Logic you have a really pretty EQ where it's like blue and you have like a nice blue hill that like goes up and down, really pretty. Um, there's a lot of things.
I'm looking.
I'm looking.
Oh god, there's like a billion. Oh
no. I think if you have a parametric EQ, I would recommend that. And I can look that up as well. I wish I had a MacBook. Okay, let's see. Logic Pro.
Oh, I don't know.
Parametric EQ. Logic Pro EQs. I'm taking a look at it to see what they look like. How to EQ in Logic Pro. Logic Pro channel EQ. Okay, it should be called channel EQ, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And then, maybe I could. Would you be able to share your screen on Discord so I can take a look? Is that possible?
I could try.
Oh, okay, no worries.
This is also my work computer. I've got 2 monitors and 5 different windows currently.
Okay, you're good. You're good. No worries. No worries. So trying to find this in Logic, I guess would be something similar. So this really colorful thing I have pulled up is called a mixer, and Logic also has a mixer. And on that mixer, you're able to put in different plugins at different stages depending on what channel it is. So if we see here on my vocal bus thing that I have highlighted right here, this is called a channel, and a channel exists on a mixer. Cool, just as terminology sake goes. And on this channel, I have put on a parametric EQ. So now anything that goes into that channel is also going through that parametric EQ. So I guess maybe I can continue to run through conceptually, and then perhaps later on, if we physically need to figure out how to access the EQs, then we can also do that. So just conceptually, guitars, like I said before, are a mid-ranged instrument.
Yeah, you just need to have had like recorded parts already. Let me see if I can pull something together.
This is fun. I like this. It's also challenging, which I also like.
This is like... Yeah, I'm wondering, since like this is my fancy new work computer with my new job, so it's like I haven't recorded anything on Logic Pro on it, but I think I may have recorded something on GarageBand on it. I think I can like drag those files
Hey, no worries, no worries. I think um, conceptually we can probably just move forward a little bit, and don't feel stressed
Give
out
me
to like
1 second.
try to. Okay, if you want to, no worries.
Sure, sure. I know what you're talking about though, but you just have to have like a section recorded and highlighted already.
Got it. Okay, so channel EQ. I'm just gonna give you the facts on how to EQ a guitar, because
Yes.
that's what we're here for. Okay, so what I do
Do it.
is I do a high cut and a low cut. And if I were to show it like Logic does, it would look something like this, where it gets pulled down and then you see something along these lines. You can edit these to have a sharper or a less sharp sort of curve. So I prefer to use cuts instead of low and high passes. Now, here are the key frequencies that you want to cut above and below. So let's start with the upper frequency. Generally, you cut from 10,000 hertz and above. And then why? Why do we do that? TikTok, do you know? I'm live on here too. Do you have any idea why we cut above 10,000 hertz
I
for
have
a
no
guitar?
idea.
Okay, so the reason why we do that is because all of the sounds or noise above 10,000 hertz that come from a guitar are useless. They offer no musical value and actually take away from the cleanliness of a recording. So, for example, like 15,000 and above, humans can barely even hear that. So, let alone like whatever the case is, right? 15,000 is hard for a lot of humans to hear. 10,000 is like a bunch of they're just like a bunch of noise. Like it's nothing that sounds good. Oftentimes it sounds sharp to people's ears. It hurts. It's just bad. Just bad. So oftentimes we just cut it off. 10,000 hertz and above,
Okay, so
we
just
cut the
kind of like
guitar.
fuzzes out. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, a bunch of just useless junk. To an extent. Just as a basic concept, I guess that's where we start. Then on the low end, generally I'm cutting around 150 and below. 150 hertz and below. And the same reason goes for the low end as the high end. All the muddiness and low stuff that a guitar produces isn't valuable to us and doesn't offer any sort of musical characteristic. It's just a bunch of mud, is what a lot of people use to
So this
describe
is
the
just the
lower
top and
frequency.
this is a really dumb question.
Uh huh.
This is the top and bottom of this curved plateau thing.
Yes. That's not a dumb question. You're right. It is the top and
Okay,
bottom of
cool.
this curve.
I did it. It wasn't dumb. I'm so happy.
It wasn't dumb. This is so important because if you had tried to do that with one of the middle parameters, it would be totally different. So for example, if you had done something like this where you used one of the middle parameters to try to cut at 10,000, now what you've done is you've dipped it at 10,000 but left 10,000 and above on there. So, and that's not what we want, right? We want cleanliness. So, roughly at 150 and 10,000.
Okay.
Okay. Um, Let me know if you need more time to like finish taking your notes or whatever the case, and then we'll continue to go.
Oh no, I'm good. Now I'm just like watching curves and having my mind blown. It's all good.
Okay,
Sorry.
cool. I'm I'm dead. Having my mind blown. Okay, so um, here's where I'm gonna sort of dip into a subjective point. I understand that like having a solid like 10,000 and a solid 150 is nice because it gives you security in your decision making process. But here is where I'm going to offer a subjective sort of perspective. Um, both of those numbers are arbitrary. And they're arbitrary in the sense that it's really up to you where you want to adjust these EQ points and what your ears enjoy and don't enjoy. So why do I say that? Because
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, I assume that this is just to make it like super like clean straight sound from which then you have like a diving board off of to do more experimental EQ sounding.
yes, yes, I love that. Yes, exactly. That makes me so happy. That's perfect. A lot of times when I'm actually EQing my guitars, I go all the way up to like 225 hertz on the bottom and 8,000 on the top. So I'm really shredding the edges of the guitar that I've recorded so that we give a lot of space to the other instrumentation in our mix. Okay, so what have we done so far? We've established a healthy gain on our guitar, right? We've recorded our sick guitar part, right? Then we've opened up an
Yes,
EQ on
the
that
EQ.
guitar. Yes. And then we've now trimmed the fat. We've trimmed the unnecessary parts of that guitar part, and now we just have our raw, clean ish take. Okay?
Yep,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
with you.
So here's where we get to the fun stuff where we start messing with the characteristics of the guitar. And here's where I'm super jealous of Logic Pro. Because Logic Pro is really, really great at this stock and FL
Oh,
Studio is
really?
not. Yes, I'm so jealous. You have it so much easier. Okay, we're going to talk about amps.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. Um, have you used any amps on Logic Pro before?
Yeah, I just yeah, whenever I record something, well, not every time, but sometimes, yeah, I just like toss an amp on there.
Perfect. Perfect. Because that's exactly what my next step would be. After I
I have like a
EQ
lot
it, I would throw an amp on there and then I would go through presets and I would find one that I like.
nice. Yes, that's usually my first step.
Okay. Okay, cool. And that's always possible as well. The reason why I prefer to do an EQ first is so the signal that's going into the amp is already the signal that we are okay with. If it's definitely possible to do it vice versa, but if we went through an amp first and we found one we liked and
No,
then we
this way
EQ'd
makes
it,
way more sense because I feel like if we start with the amp first, it's like you're like unraveling.
yeah, you're right. Keep going. Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. Like it's like you're going. Uh, yeah, like you already started outside. You have to go back inside. Like it just makes more sense to build everything up as opposed to having to like turn it inside out.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I understand what you're saying, so no worries. Absolutely. So I would go EQ first, and then I go amp, and
Okay,
then
thank God, because I'm literally my metaphors are terrible, and they're not very musically technical. So I'm glad you're pairing
yeah,
with me.
you're fine. No, I get it. I get it. I myself use a lot of analogies, so I definitely get it. I definitely get it. Okay, so after you're done EQ, amp,
Okay, great.
um, let me think what I would do next. I would probably EQ again and then compress. So, what's the second EQ for? Let's go into that. So, let me go ahead and change this to an amp simulator just for the sake of making sense here. Where's my Blue Cat amp? Okay, so what? Hello? Delete. Let's add an amp in here. This is really fun. I've never got a chance to do this before for someone or with someone. Okay, so if we look on the right side of my mix bus mixer thing, it's over here on the gray. We started with this EQ, we trimmed the fat, right? Then we put that through an amp and we found a setting that we really like. Now it's starting to sound cool and we're getting a vibe. I'm going to throw another EQ on this amp. And now what this one is for tonal shaping. So you're a sculptor, right? And you're looking at this it was at first this really big rock, right? And then now we cut this rock into a nice rectangle with our first EQ, right? Then we put that rock under a beautiful light, which is our amp, right? Gave it some sort of tones, right? It looks a little different, sounds different. And now, as a sculptor with the second EQ, we're going to chip away at this block and make it look or sound the way we envision, right? We're a sculptor in this sense. Did that make sense?
This is awesome. Okay.
Hey, Lucas! Yay! Okay, I'm glad we got some people in here.
It made a lot of sense.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So, like I said, mid-ranged instrument. So we're really working from 150 to 10,000. So keep that in mind. So doing things with our EQ down here below 150 will do nothing, and then doing things with our EQ up here above 10,000 will do nothing. Why? Because we're trying to play with frequencies that don't exist because we already cut them off in our first EQ. Okay. So frequencies, and this applies to every sound possible because they all exist in the same frequency spectrum. There's something called low end, low mids, mid highs, and highs. So if you want to think of four sections, is how people usually prefer to do it instead of just low, mid, high. It's a little bit too broad in that sense. So we have lows, low, mid highs, and highs. And lows are generally from like 20 to like 100. Low mids are like 100 to 300, or maybe like 500 even. 1 to 5. Mid highs are like 5 to like maybe 1,500 or 2,000. And then highs are like 2K and above. Maybe like highs are like 5K and above, to be honest.
K and up. Okay. 5K and up. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, however you want to organize it in your head, but generally these frequencies exist with certain characteristics. So with lows, for a lot of instruments like guitar or vocals, it's considered to be muddy, which is a negative thing. But for instruments like bass and kick drums that live down there, that's like their happy place. So this kind of goes above and beyond when we talk about tonal balance. Like we want our frequency spectrum to be full, so instruments occupy all parts of the spectrum, and then we utilize EQ to make sure that they don't run into each other. We create space for all the instruments to sort of live happily in this frequency spectrum. I don't know about you, but my mind is already kind of getting lost.
I'm like, it's so hard to describe. It's great.
Okay, awesome.
It makes so much sense, and I'm just like, okay. That's definitely something that I wanted to do, and I had no idea what buttons to push to make that happen.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right, we're almost there finishing our guitar. So once we've done our second EQ and we're playing with the frequency between 150 and 10,000 just as a benchmark for what we have here, we can start playing with boosting and cutting certain frequencies within that spectrum or that range that we have. And some characteristics I want to go over that I think are important for electric guitar in general is when we focus on this low mid, so I guess between 150 and like 5 or 600, right, hertz, that's going to give you a lot of body. And what do I mean by body? When something has more low end, it feels thicker, it feels heavier, it feels like it has a more substantial body, right? If you looked at like a bodybuilder and they had like
Music pudding.
yeah, music pudding. That's a great way. I was gonna use like a bodybuilder analogy, like if they're super swole up top and then they have like chicken legs It's like not a very substantially, like not a very supported bottom end. Um, but sort of like if it's a bodybuilder that has a symmetrical top and bottom, everything looks full, then like that would sort of be a supported bottom end.
Yes.
And that's up to you. Um, if you feel like your guitar or the amp that we sent it through is sort of lacking in its low end, I would boost that a little bit. And maybe if it's too harsh in the high end or the upper mids, cut that a little bit. So when we say boost and cut, we want to use sort of wide sweeping EQs. So if I were to go back and represent these cuts, these are not wide. These are super narrow and sharp, and they're very definitive. But when we take a look at these really wide sort of bell curves, they take up a lot of space. They're very generous, right? They're just helping us chip away and sort of shape that sculpture that we have. So again, more body, focus on the low mid. If you want more presence, more clarity, focus on the upper end, high mids or mid highs, whatever you want to call it. Is that making sense?
That's gonna depend on like what space we're trying to take up with the guitar part.
Yeah.
Per song, I guess.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And these like the idea of having things like play nicely with each other in the frequency spectrum is just really an idea, because it's never going to be like, oh, I added, sometimes it is, but we don't have to worry about it. It's never going to be like, oh, I added 1 dB of 2K over here, so in this other instrument I'm going to have to take off 1 dB of 2K. Like, it's not really ever like that. It's not too crucial, is what I'm trying to say. But the general idea of having things get along is important.
Yeah, it's not quite, oh god, what's that called? I can't articulate that. Like when you have to take and give exactly the amount?
Yeah. It's never like that.
I don't know what that word is.
Yeah, neither do I. You're fine. I don't either. So let's just say for this one, okay, I wanted a little bit of 350 because I just felt like that gave it some good body. And then, okay, it wasn't clear enough for me, so I added like 1 dB of 5K. And those are pretty, those are my go-to frequencies when it comes to guitars. I think for my guitars, they sort of lack both of these frequencies. And then the idea here is to not make drastic changes. You never really want to make drastic changes in terms of like, oh, I want to boost it like all the way up here and just go crazy, right? Like I said earlier, you're a sculptor. You've never seen someone like throw a sledgehammer and expect like a beautiful sculpture to come out.
The second EQ is not where the drastic changes.
You're right.
Yeah.
Just sculpting. Okay, cool. Now that we have a really nice...
I have realized from doing this that sometimes I just fully don't finish my sentences.
No, you're good. I do that all the time, so you're fine. Okay. So, just to recap, again, we've established a healthy gain on our interface. We recorded a sick guitar part. We EQ'd the fat off. We put it through an amp. We got it to sound good. Then we put it through another EQ, shaped it to how we want it, and now we're going to compress it. Compressing serves... Actually, I would like to ask you this question first. And there's no right or wrong answer, because a lot of people are intimidated by compressors and what they do. So I want to ask, not necessarily what a compressor does, but like, what is your experience with compressors, and like, what purpose do they serve as a tool for you?
So this is the thing, at least for me, it feels like it's the cap on all of the work and balancing that you have been doing so far. So it's kind of like if you I remember in high school I used to make a lot of like Harry Potter wands out of like dowel sticks just randomly.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you put like the stain, it's it's like, okay, here's this piece of wood that is stained, and like it looks cool, but like I feel like the compressor is like the what is that, like the glossy varnish or whatever that you put after the stain that like really pulls it together.
Cool. I really like that answer. And before I respond to you, I have to use the restroom, so I'll be right back. Okay, give me like 20, 30 seconds. Hold on.
Okay, fair. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we're back. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. Let's continue. All right, so we're talking about compressors. So you were saying compressors almost like the finishing touch, the gloss. That's a great term, a great music term. Shine, gloss, and you're not wrong. So here's why I say you're not wrong, and here's also why I say that you are wrong. Not that there's a right and wrong, but misconception with the idea of how to use a compressor.
Love being both. Love being both.
Okay, cool. So the reason why I think you're correct is initial perception of a compressor is that it makes things louder. And for human ears, louder is always better. Right? And that's something that we have to actively combat when we are making music. We have to really check ourselves. Hey, did this thing make it louder?
I don't know. That's not what I was thinking.
Oh, okay. I guess what I was trying to say is like the loudness.
Well, at least I don't think that louder is always better.
Oh, okay. Generally, that's how human ears think, and generally that's how. Yeah.
I know that there are a lot of times when people do that.
Yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of people have a misconception about compressors. It's because compressors usually make things loud, and maybe accent high end on whatever sound, and it makes it sound crispy or glossy or shiny. Here's how we can use a compressor. So we just had, I'll just use this waveform as an idea. Let me get rid of this guy because it's clipping, which we don't want. So we did EQ, amp, EQ, now we're going to compress. So I'm going to delete this and then open up my actual compressor that I use. Okay, can we see this?
Oh, this is fun. It's possible that the glossy that I was thinking of is not the glossy that you thought that I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. Could you try to describe more what you're talking about?
That could be fun. Well, for me, it's more like it's not really like one thing needs to be changed.
That one went over my head.
Do like a visual representation of this. It'd be like if you like does a compressor just do one thing?
It does. In a sense, it does.
Okay, cool. So I think my brain just really overthought what the heck a compressor was.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you, Emma, for subscribing again.
I thought I did more.
You're good. So, I mean, you're right. It does do more, but it also just does one thing. I guess the one thing, depending on your application of it, it can do multiple things. But let's take this guy, for example, just so for the sake of not getting more confused. What does a compressor do? It's in its name. It compresses the waveform. What does that even mean? Another word could be squeeze. What does that even mean? Um, to put it in a more simple term, is it makes loud things quieter and it makes quieter things louder, so it becomes more even across the board.
No, okay, this is legit. This was what my sandwich thing was before also, because I feel like it was like squishing like the two halves of the sandwich together.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And if we do this in multiple stages throughout all of the recordings that we do for a song, that final squeeze on the sandwich, you don't have to squeeze very much. You have a very solid sandwich, right? Everything in that sandwich has been compressed and is
Yes, okay, yeah.
solid,
I think
right?
I understand what threw it off before. I think it was because like one my analogy with the wand with the glass and the stuff, it was more to say that like you have a finished project and then you have like a compressed finished project where it's like this looks done and you can even look at it and think that it is done and feel good about it being done, but there's also like one more thing that you can do to like pull all the sounds together to make it like really really done, and that's what the compressor does.
Mm. Okay. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I personally don't view a compressor
Sort of.
as like finishing
Sort of.
touches. I view it as like
Okay, okay.
I view it as, if we're taking the sandwich analogy, or can I guess I'll use a burger for a better
Yeah, yeah.
sort of imagery. Like that patty in the middle, if it's like lopsided, like that one part's really thin and one part's really fat, like it doesn't make for a very solid burger. If you had squeezed the side that like has a thinner patty, it would like open up and fan, and if you did vice versa, everything would fall out. So what a compressor does is it makes that
Right, right,
beef
right, right.
patty
Yes.
like
It's like when you
even.
have like a really nice even sandwich and you squish the top of it and it just feels like you're just like, look at this
Mhm.
excellent burger that I have squished in my hands,
Mhm.
so perfect for me to cut in half and then eat, and then nothing terrible is going to spill out of the
Yes.
sides.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So I think I would encourage you to think of it more like that as opposed to a finishing touch,
Okay.
because it's something that we're going to be using along the way before we even get to the
Yeah, I
final
think
product.
because I don't know what the heck is going on with music tech, that's why I didn't know that it was not a finishing touch. So
No, you're
heck
good.
yes,
Yes,
this
absolutely.
is
And this
exactly
is,
why
yeah,
I'm glad I came to you.
nice. I'm glad we're having this conversation too. So this guy I'm looking at right here is pretty weird looking, pretty wonky looking, kind of intimidating. Looks dark and looks kind of mean. Um, but this is a very very powerful tool and simple to understand, I think. So when we look at like stock compressors or compressors that come with the plugin, um, not a lot of them have this thing in the middle. And this thing in the middle is called a VU meter. And what that meter is telling us is that,
Is that the what is that? The thing. Yes, that. Yep.
yes, yes, yeah. And what it's telling us is it's giving us a visual representation of how much it's compressing our waveform, which is so nice because if that's not there, we have to go by ear, and that's harder to do. um, so
What did you say was the name of the meter?
letter
Some
V,
letters?
yeah, letter V, letter U, VU meter.
Okay.
Yes. And this specific plugin is free, which is why I like it. It's leveling tool by ADHD Audio Tools, and it's free.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
So, why don't we break down the parameters of the compressor and then continue after that? How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Okay. So let's keep trucking on. So the first thing I want to sort of point our attention to is the ratio. Ratio is basically describing how heavy the compression is going to be. Let's see if I can run. Okay, so I'm going to press play and we're going to listen to this vocal. I'm not going to change anything here except for the ratio. So this first one will be at a 4-to-1, and the next one I'll just max it out. So let's take a listen.
Hello.
Oh. Okay, imagine this is a guitar. Here, I'll take off these EQs, and then, okay, here we go. So this is at a 4-to-1 ratio. Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like. Okay, cool. That's 4-to-1. Now let's take it all the way to let's go 22-to-1, and let's see if we can hear a difference. Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like. Okay, let's take one more listen back at 4, and then one at 22 again. Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like. Okay, now at 22. Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like. Okay, so for me, what I heard is in the 22-to-1 versus the 4-to-1, the quieter parts of that vocal take felt much firmer. There was a lot less dynamic in that vocal take. Everything was sort of the same volume.
Yeah, that made my ears pop, for sure.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to hurt you or anything. Hope you're okay. But that's the idea. So
No. Not like in a bad way. I just mean that was how I noticed the difference, was that the first one sounded kind of more open as far as the silence, and the other one sounded like I was kind of underwater.
Yeah. It felt, yeah, exactly. It felt almost like claustrophobic. There was not a lot of space because it's squeezing the heck out of it. Okay, so generally, when we're working with guitars and vocals and whatever, we are around the 3-to-4-to-1 ratio range. Why? Because it's a light form of compression, but it's still helping us squeeze a little bit so we have a flatter patty for our sandwich. I like this sandwich metaphor. Okay, great. So that's the ratio of how heavy that it's squeezing. Next, I want to point us to this attack and release. Okay. So attack and release is, I guess, similar to how it's labeled. It's how aggressive it's attacking the waveform. So for example, if we see over here in the very beginning, it's like a really big waveform, right? And then it sort of trails off at the end. When we set the attack to be really fast, right now it's at 10 milliseconds, right? And we can set it all the way down to 1 millisecond, but we'll keep it at 10. We set it really fast, it's gonna notice that waveform is really big and jump on it immediately, right? It's not gonna let it get out of hand. It's gonna attack it really fast to tame the big parts.
Hear those differences too?
Yes. Okay, so let's I'm gonna see how we can exaggerate this. I'm gonna set it up to 22-to-1 to really try to play it out. Let's go all the way up to 50, which is a generally slow attack. Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like. Okay, now let's set it to 1 millisecond. Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like. Okay, what sort of difference did we hear? If we can do our best to describe it.
It felt like if you were a fly that got stuck on that fly paper, it was every step you take was the beginning of the words you were saying. It was picking up.
Oh, wait, that's interesting.
It
Cool.
was it's stuck. The attack was stuck. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
like as opposed to just like immediately starting something, it was like kind of like dragging the start.
Yeah, yeah. I think that makes sense to me. What I heard was like, anytime something tried to get loud, this plugin told it to shut up. Like as soon as something started getting loud, it was like shh, 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 and like tried to like push their hand over their mouth or whatever, just like make them be quiet.
Yeah, it's like stunted.
Yeah.
Stunted it before it got going.
Mm-hmm. So that's what happens when you go super quick and at a high ratio. Cool. So that's the attack. The release is the exact opposite. It's how quick you let go. So in this example, we had a really slow release at 250 milliseconds. So once it jumped on that thing that got really loud and told to shut up, it didn't let go for a long time. It kept its hand on its mouth for 250 milliseconds instead of just telling it to shut up and then letting go. Cool. Ish.
I think I'm gonna need to hear that as well.
Okay, no worries. So let's go 22 to 1, and then let's go 1 millisecond attack. So we'll listen to it slow release, and then we'll make it a quick release, okay? So here's slow release. Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like. Okay, slow release. Now here's fast release. Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like. Okay, what kind of differences did we hear?
Okay, yeah, I hear that. It feels like... Oh, this is hard to articulate. Okay.
You're good. Take your time.
Like it felt stifled, but on the other end, which I guess makes sense since we're talking about like the beginning of the sound versus the end of the sound.
Yeah, so in which example did it feel more stifled at the end? The slow or fast release?
A slow release. Sorry, I had to think about it.
Yeah. Yay. No, exactly. I got a little nervous when I asked that question. No, you're exactly right. And why? Because as soon as it attacked really hard, right? And then
No, that was the delay.
and then it didn't let go for a long time. And then in the quick one, it attacked really hard, but then it let go immediately. So we ended up getting a lot more dynamic, and it opened up after those loud moments, right? Someone got loud, we told them to shut up, but then when they kept talking at a normal volume, we let go, right? And we let them talk. Good job. That was almost like that was a tough question to answer. I'm not gonna lie. That was nice. I got nervous when I asked that question. Great job. Great job. So we have an idea of ratio. We want a light ratio, and then now that we understand sort of what the attack and release knob do, let's ask the question of where do we set them? What values do we set them at? And here's a cool secret that not a lot of people do, and that I think is really important. And this cheat code is that you use two compressors. Use two compressors, and each one has a different purpose. So let's break it down. We don't want to just squeeze our patty, like just mash it to get it flat, because then it's gonna sound really like just fat and not in a good way. We want it to be even. We don't want a super squashed brick patty. We want it to have some bite, and we want it to have some texture and just be even. That's what we're looking for, right?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the moral of a lot of this story is like balance. So
Yes.
Compressor is the same. Like you can't have a balanced compressor if you're just balancing on one end and not the other.
Yeah, exactly. So our first compressor is generally set to a really fast attack and a really fast release. And what it's doing is every time it gets loud, we tell it to quiet down a little bit, right? And then we let it go. So only at the loud parts are we telling it to like, hey, you're a little bit too loud. Please, be a little bit more quiet to match the others, right? And it's really fast. As soon as they're okay to continue talking, we let go. Second compressor does the exact opposite. We're saying, hey, you're a little bit, soft spoken, you're kind of quiet, like please speak up. I can't hear you, right? And then that's set at a medium attack and a medium release. Now, Andy, what's considered fast, what's considered slow, what's considered medium? Generally, when I go fast, I go 1 millisecond attack and 10 millisecond release. I go the fastest that it can go. And then for the, hey, I need you to speak up, I can't really hear you, I'm going for a 30 millisecond attack and a 50 millisecond release. And these are ballparked. I used to do 30 and 100. And at that point, I felt like the release was too slow, so I started using 50, and this is where I've sort of felt comfortable in the last couple of weeks. How are we feeling? Are we taking notes still?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're taking lots of notes.
We're taking lots of notes. Fantastic. Okay. Both of these compressors, I'm setting at a 4-to-1 ratio. First one is quick attack, quick release. Second one is medium attack, medium release. Now let's dive into this gain and peak reduction thing. All right. So this is where things get... Remember what I said earlier about humans think that louder is better? This is where we're going to actively combat this ideology because oftentimes it tricks us, right? So what I have open right here on the top right is a dB meter, which is just a volume meter. I'm not sure exactly what that looks like on Logic, but I think you have like little bars next to like your channels, like on your playlist thing. And when they play, it like shows you a line that darts across, and when that thing...
Yeah, they have those on each of them.
Okay, good. So when that thing goes to like red, that means it's above 0. So that's kind of like your dB meter. But I think I'm not sure if Logic has one, and we'd probably have to do some research to see if they have one that's more accurate than that actually has like numerical value like this one has. Like, okay, I see it's hitting -6, -12, -18, or anywhere in between like that. But conceptually, Logic Pro has one of those. So what we're gonna do...
Oh, I see you're pointing at something. The chat is like behind it. Let me see if I can try to...
Oh, let me move it over. I'm sorry. Here.
I can't see where you're pointing.
Yeah, I'll scoot it over to the left side. How does this look better? Is that in the way anymore? Oh, where is it? Wait, I can't see it.
Okay, well, wait. What am I looking at now?
Yeah, it's not showing up on the screen. Hello? Wait, oh, there you go. Okay, we're there now.
Less stupid about not seeing where it is.
Okay, it's there now. Sorry, I had to reattach it. It's this guy over here, this gray buddy over here.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I see it.
So, here, I turned off all of my compressors, and I'm gonna press play. And we're going to see where our recording lands on this dB meter, how loud it is, okay? Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like. All right, that was a little dumb on my part, because I normalized this, so of course it's going to be hitting 0, so let me do something different and not be stupid to try to show a bad example. Okay. So let's reopen this dB meter, and then let's press play again. Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like. Okay, so if we see this, these two red bars, right? They're landing at about -6. And this is arbitrary number. This is just like what volume that we thought our guitar sounded okay in, our headphones, our speakers, whatever. And then we press play. We saw what level it's numerically at on a dB meter. Okay. Now we're going to take our first compressor. This is our fast attack, fast release. So this is just making sure all those loud parts are just, getting a little bit more quiet, and then that's it. Then we're letting go immediately. So this -6 is arbitrary number. But what our goal is to do is to apply the compressor, but have it come out to the same volume. Because what does that tell us? That tells us that we added value to the recording and it's actually better versus it just being louder and us not really understanding what it's doing. Louder is not always better, so we check ourselves to make sure everything we did do is level matching so that it's not just volume, it's actually something characteristically changing. So let's take a look. So remember our key number here is -6.
Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like.
Okay, so was that recording still at -6 based on our dB meter over here?
It didn't look.
Hello,
It
my
didn't look like it, but
Yeah.
this is super new to me, so I'm ready to be wrong.
No, you're good. You're right. It didn't look like it. It was actually 3 dB above -6. So what we're going to do is we want to level match, right? Level meaning volume. So we're going to drag this gain knob up or down to get it to match -6 if we're at -3 right now.
Okay, no, I don't know the answer to this question.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to this question.
You're good.
I fully don't.
You're good. So if we think about it vertically, right, where we're at right now is above where we want to go. So we would pull that down.
Down, I guess.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. We pull it down. Very good. So I'm just gonna drag it down until we're hitting about -6.
Hello, my name is Andy.
A little too much still.
Hello,
That looked like it's too much still.
Hello, my name is Andy Yu,
Okay,
and I
that's
am
hitting
currently
right about
recording a
-6.
vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like.
Okay, so that was hitting about -6, which is meaning that we applied our compressor and it's the same volume as it was before. So now we're just getting a compressed version of our original audio. How are we doing so far? I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you. I unironically, or I guess ironically, this is supposed to be beginner level, which I guess it is.
We're
But
doing good. Honestly, I understand. Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. I paused because I was then listening to you, and then the delay happened.
Oh, okay.
No, this is definitely correct. I understand what you mean now when you say most people think that louder is better, because I'm personally someone who believes that fuller is better.
Mhm.
And I feel like the reason why sometimes people think that louder is better is because sometimes things aren't mixed evenly, and if it's louder, then they can hear more stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's more balanced. It's just that they can hear more stuff. Whereas I feel like it doesn't necessarily need to be loud. You just need to be able to hear all of the stuff.
You are absolutely correct. 100%. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Very good. All right, let's take a look at this last knob. This compressor's, has a lot of moving parts, but we're doing great. Last thing is called peak reduction. Okay. So, like I said before, this VU meter is so important because it's showing us how much it's compressing. Right? Showing us, not just us setting dials and us having an idea. Literally in dB, it's telling us how much it's doing it. So our goal is to be between 0 and 2 dB in this VU meter. So let's take a look at the center gauge right here, and we want this needle to be between 0 and 2. Why? because we do things in little steps. We don't want to make big drastic changes. We do things little by little because we are a very sophisticated and artisticated sculptor, and we only like to chip away a little bit at a time to make sure we get a perfect product or whatever. So let's take a look at this meter.
Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like.
Okay, so was that needle always between 0 and -2?
No, there were a couple of pops, like the hello was pretty big, and then I want to say the currently was pretty big,
Yeah.
and then maybe the vocal was also pretty big.
Yeah, you're right on. So we're gonna okay, here's another question. Since it was pulling it down more than what we wanted, would we turn this knob up or down to get it to pull less?
My dyslexic brain can't take that.
You're good. You're good. Okay,
I'm so bad.
we're gonna turn it down.
Directions
We're just gonna
and,
turn it
like,
down. You're good.
Opposing pulling forces, I have no idea.
You're fine. You're fine. I'm sorry I asked. We're gonna pull it down. Keep it simple. We'll pull it down. We don't want it to be so strong, so we're gonna pull it down. And now if we listen to it, let's see if it's between 0 and 2.
Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like.
Okay, so we noticed that this hello is now between 0 and -2,
Hello,
right?
Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a wave.
Good, very good. So that's exactly where we want that
Before it,
compressor
like,
to be.
shot all the way over to like 5 or something.
Yes, and that's not what we want because it's becoming an uneven patty now, right? But if it's between 0 and 2, now we're just lightly squeezing the patty. Hey, Dara. I hope you're having a great day too. Now it's lightly squeezing the patty, and we're not doing too much work at once. Great. So we've established our first compressor. This is just a sprinkle on top. This little drive button here adds drive or overtones or saturation. So if you want something to sound a little bit more distorted or have a little bit more grit, crank this up, and if you don't, pull it back down. If you think of drive as like sandpaper or something, just have a little bit more grit. Helps it cut through the mix and helps the ear sort of attract to it. It's kind of abrasive. Then that's your button.
Yeah, I was thinking that. My brain was making like a rumble sound in my ear.
Very nice.
Okay.
Very nice. Okay, let's move on to our second compressor. Hi, Dora. We are working through. We've done a lot. It's been like I think 2 hours almost, which is really great. We've established. We're basically having like a production club, a music production club, and we're going through and sort of step by step on how to go through certain things. So what we're working on right now is how to record a guitar and how to process it. Okay, so now we're going to our second compressor. We had our first.
Stop sometime too. I don't want to take up too much of your time. This is like really amazing that you're even doing this at all.
Well, I'm chilling. We're almost done. I think today when we find a stopping point, we'll be at that guitar finishing point. So we're almost there. We're probably like 80% there.
Okay.
Yeah, we're almost there. So first compressor was super fast attack and release. And then we set the gain and peak reduction so that it's hitting the same level as it was before we added the compressor. Now we're about to do the same thing again, but with the medium attack, medium release compressor, which I have pulled up here. So same thing as before. We're going to take a look at our dB meter and make sure that it's hitting -6 because we want to keep it at the same volume.
Hello, my name.
All right, already it's way too loud. It's hit above 0, which would be clipping, which is not ideal. I'm not going to say it's a no-no because sometimes we want to do it, but not ideal in this case.
Hello, my.
Still a little bit too loud. Keep pulling this gain knob down. Waiting for this dB meter to fall so it gives accurate measurement.
Hello, my
Still a little bit too loud. This level matching is so important.
Hello, my name is Andy Hughes.
Perfect, we're right there. Okay, now let's take a look at our VU meter and see how much it's pulling down.
Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like.
Okay, there were points where it dipped past -2, so we're gonna pull this down.
Hello, my name is Andy.
I saw we're still dipping past -2, so I pull down more.
Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like.
Okay, great. That looked good to me.
Hello, my name.
Oh, interesting. How come when it was at 35, it was hitting at -6?
Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to.
And then we pulled it down to 25, and now it's going above -6.
Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently.
Very nice. So let's adjust again. Let's pull this gain down more to get it to hit -6.
Hello, my name is Andy Yu.
Oh, too much.
Hello, my name is Andy
Right there.
Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like.
Okay, great. Now both compressors are happy. They're both, I guess, impacting the waveform at between 0 and -2, and they're the same volume as they were before. So now if we take a listen to the original recording and then apply both compressors, let's see the difference.
Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like.
Now with both compressors engaged.
Hello, my name is Andy Yu, and I am currently recording a vocal take as a demonstration to show what a waveform looks like.
Okay, I'm curious to see what you heard or hear about what you heard.
This with the compressors, it feels more like meaty.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the patty got a lot thicker. However, same volume. Right? Both hit -6 on the dB meter.
Like the trash bag commercial with the hefty bags.
Yeah. Yeah, it went from one of those like flimsy Walmart great value brands to like a hefty bag, right? And for the same price, basically. Right? They cost the same. They're both hitting
but
-6.
Like the volume is the same, but because it's like wimpy versus hefty, like even though the volume is the same, it still sounded
Full, thick, meaty, like you said. Great, great. That is the correct observation, I would say. Alrighty, we're nearing the end.
That was one of those times when I didn't finish my sentence, but you did, so thank you for that.
You're good. So we're now ending the finish line. We're reaching the finish line for how we are going to mess with a guitar recording. So at this point, what I would do is I would add the shine that we're talking about earlier. This gloss, this shine.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
what's that?
What's that? Yeah. And this depends on, I guess, like just subjective, whatever your ears are hearing. I use this plugin called Fresh Air, and it's a free plugin. It's by Slate Digital. I think they just released it like maybe a couple months ago. I just recently got it and started using it. Okay, it's called Fresh Air. Basically, it's applying a like artificial high end, so it wouldn't be as harsh as if we had just left the high end of the original recording. For this example, it's a guitar, right? When we cut the fat at the beginning stage for this guitar, it's because all that stuff in the high end is useless, right? It's not pleasant to hear. This plugin, Fresh Air, it adds a pleasant high end. So it's nothing that's going to be too sharp and hurt us to an extent, depending on how we use it. Um, like you said earlier, the whole concept for music making is balance, and this is no exception. Making sense?
Being silent is me taking it in and taking notes. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I'm just like soaking it in.
Yeah. And this plugin is a lot more simple to use. There's not a lot of moving parts. There's a mid air and a high air, and then there's a button in between that links the two. And then over here there's a trim, and this trim I don't ever really worry about, so I wouldn't really worry about it. So for if you hover over it, I hope you can see that. If I hover over the mid one, it says add high mid presence, and then this one says add high sparkle. So if you want things to have more presence, we're over here at the mid air.
Oh, okay.
And presence just means like clarity. It's a little bit more in your face. It's saying hello. It's not shy and like trying to be tucked away. It's like trying to get in your face, trying to get your attention. High air is just like if you really want that thing to shine, that gloss, etc., etc. Use these, I think, very sparingly. You have the capability of going all the way up to 100, but I think you'll find very soon if you try that that it's not very pleasant to listen to. I generally keep it in the range of 5 to 10 on either one of these knobs. 5% here, 5% here, 5% on both. I generally don't go above 10 because then it gets too harsh. Okay. Wow. I think I'll just touch on one more thing before we go, or before we can do like a little recap, and that is panning. Um, have you used panning in projects before?
Panning like ear to ear.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't even check to see if panning was like familiar terminology. Panning, you're right, from ear to ear, or you can just do hard left, which means it just exists in your left ear, or hard right, which means it just exists in your right ear, or like anywhere in between. So just talking about placement, either in headphones or in the
I've done
stereo
that before.
spectrum.
I've kind of messed around with it. I don't know if I was doing it based on like anything that I was supposed to be doing. I don't know.
You're
I
good.
just kind of did it by feel and
Mm-hmm.
like where the sounds felt in my own head,
Mm-hmm.
and so I decided to like do stuff based on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I can't say that's wrong. I think that's great. Um, the power of panning is when we talk about tonal balance, right? Um, we say, okay, these instruments occupy low frequencies, these instruments occupy mid frequencies, and then these instruments occupy upper frequencies. Um, and that's good because we want that balance for when things become mono, or for example your music is played through a phone speaker or something, or like your music's played in a club, where you don't have the luxury of a stereo, which means a left and a right. It's just all center. You want that tonal balance, but because a lot of listening nowadays is in a stereo environment, either through speakers or with headphones where you have a left and a right, this is where we can really take advantage of panning and utilize it to add more clarity and space and depth to our mixes. So generally, guitars are panned left and right, as to leave room in the center for bass, drums, and vocals. And I'm assuming your silence is just soaking it in, so I'm going to continue. Let me know if I need to slow down through this part. Um, Getting the guitars out of the way because they're not a upfront aspect of your song. Getting them out of the way so that things that are really important, like your your voice and your drums, or whatever the case, can take front and center stage. Also, if you think about it in terms of a stage, if you're at like a rock concert or something, they generally have guitars off on the side, lead singer in the center, and then drummer behind him or them. And we want to organize it in a similar way. It doesn't have to be so exact, but to continue to offer us more space and clarity. When we separate things in the stereo spectrum, it's almost like there's different people standing in front of us or around us playing their instruments, not just everyone stacked on each other and then a big ball of sound just shoved in our face. Offers up some clarity. And that's the last thing we'll touch on before we start our recap and sort of have any questions answered, whatever the case. Did that last section make sense with the panning?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, it has to do with, like, also how you experience the sound around you and how the sound approaches you from around you, I guess.
Yep.
So, like, the stuff that needs to be more grounded would be more in the center so that you can be, like, enveloped by the guitar. Like, it pulls in the sound into the center by being outside of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I think now we can start a little recap section. And then if you have any questions along the way, let me know if I need to go through and iron anything's out. And then that will wrap up our first session, which I'm so happy it went so well. We're right around the 2-hour mark, so this was like for an hour and a half. Okay, let's go ahead and start from the top.
Yes, this has been so awesome.
Yeah, I'm really happy we did this. All right, let's start from the top. So I'm going to do this sort of quiz style open note. So feel free to use the notes that you took. And let's go through this and see how well we do. Okay, are you ready?
I don't have anxiety. I'm confident about everything. Yep.
Don't worry, I'm not here to like grill you. I think just the quiz aspect is giving us a little bit of a push to remember. Not to like grill you or anything. Here we go. Okay, so we have our guitar. It's an electric guitar or your acoustic guitar with a pickup, right? What's the first thing that we should sort of lay out for just our electric guitar? What do we need to make sure is happening with that electric guitar? This is kind of picky. Should the volume be all the way up, yes or no?
We gotta record a little bit and check with the gain to make sure that we are avoiding clipping.
Oh yeah, you went 100 meters away. That's great. That's great. You're way ahead of me already. I was just gonna say make sure your volume's all the way up. First thing. That's good. That's good. You're right. Absolutely right. Check your gain. Run some test recordings.
Oh, that too. Right. Yes. Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta do that as well.
Yes.
Sorry.
You're right. Check your gain. Test recordings. Adjust the gain. Making sure that it's not so quiet that we have to boost it, and it's not so loud that we're clipping 100% correct. Okay, great. What's the next step after we have a nice, healthy recording of our guitar?
EQ.
Yes. What is that EQ doing?
It helps shape like the tonal balance of the recording.
Yes, you are correct. Conceptually, that is what it does. However, what is this specific EQ doing? If there's too much fat on a piece of meat, what are you going to do to it?
Oh, I don't know if I know the answer to. Well, I probably do, but I probably don't know that it's the answer to this. Oh, the trimming. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. Don't ever apologize. We're learning. I'm giving you a little bit of a hard time. to sort of, just encourage the the remembering, the absorption of it. You're absolutely right. Don't apologize. We're trimming the fat off of this guitar recording because there's a lot of stuff below and above a certain frequency.
Yeah, my plan is
that
to
we don't
also
want.
just do this a bunch.
Yes, absolutely. And muscle memory is key. Yeah, so we have an EQ that's cutting generally above 10,000 EQ and below 150 EQ. And then we'll leave it at that. Great, we're trimming the fat. Next thing, what are we doing?
Amps.
Very good. And this is where Logic shines. You have a lot of amps at your disposal. So go through and find an amp that you like on your guitar. Fantastic. Moving on. Next EQ. This one is shaping the tonal balance. You're giving some different characteristics in certain frequency areas that we want. This is, you're given this nice piece of marble under a nice light, and now you're starting to chip away at it. Great. Moving on. Ooh, okay, this is where it gets kind of tricky. What is this? What do I have pulled up? What is it called?
That is a compressor.
It is a
I know
compressor.
exactly what that is.
Yes,
And
fantastic
It is
job.
a compressor.
Yes, it is. You are absolutely correct. Great. What is... This is kind of diverting from the process of it. What is something to... How can I ask this? What is... how do I ask this? What's important here when we apply a compressor? The answer is that the recording at its original and with the compressor on should be at the same volume. That's the key thing here. Level matching is the term that we use. All right, so on this compressor, we have a fast attack and a fast release. We have a 4-to-1 ratio. We want to make sure that we use this gain knob to make sure that we level match. And then we use this peak reduction knob to make sure that that needle on the VU meter is between 0 and -2 throughout the whole recording. Yep. All right, let's move on. Second compressor. This one's medium attack, medium release. Same 4-to-1 ratio. We're using this gain knob to make sure we level match again to -6. -6 arbitrary number. This is just wherever you set your volume, just match it. Doesn't have to be -6 specifically. We set it to -6, and then we did peak reduction to make sure that it's between 0 and -2 again. Great. Both compressors are happy. We level matched all the way through. Now we have a nice thick version of our previously thin patty of our burger. Now we're going to add our finishing touch, which is the shine, gloss, I guess that's it, shine or gloss, finishing touch, polish of this recording, and this is with the plugin called Fresh Air. This is adding its own high end to our recording and not utilizing any of our gross high end from our original recording. In this case, we would probably use 5% is generally what I go with. Nothing above 10, it gets too harsh. Generally keep it around 5. Fresh Air is also a free plugin, as well as leveling tool by ADHD Audio Tools. Okay, great. And then from that step 1 to this final step, you should have a pretty polished guitar that you can begin to work with, however that goes in the future. So I think that's where we'll stop today. Are there any questions for me? Any questions, comments, concerns from what we learned today?
Really good. I feel like you unlocked a lot of things I was trying to articulate before that I didn't really know what the pieces were called, so I didn't really know how to ask those questions.
Yeah.
And it feels really good to be able to associate an action with creating the sound I was trying to achieve.
Let's go. I'm so happy to hear that. That's fantastic. That is so cool. Okay, I guess that will conclude our first session. I want to say that you did a fantastic job. Great questions, great analogies also, and I think that aspect of you being able to associate these
Hey, thanks.
concepts with analogies is going to be really, really useful for you. Absolutely. Whew. Man. Okay. Okay. We dove way, way, way
Yeah, this
deeper.
is awesome, dude. I'm really happy that that we did do this and that you put the time in to do this.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
And I subscribed, but I subscribed on I have to pay rent money this week amount, and so next week I will increase that to a more normal amount. But this is very much I have to pay rent this week.
You're good. No, you're good. I definitely want to do this just on a donation basis, so you don't have to pay anything. Definitely not. Okay, so let's see. I think we're about to wrap it up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to touch on before
No,
we.
I'm going to. You can't. You said this on TikTok before, and like you cannot convince me to not like pay you for what you're worth for the time that you're spending and like the energy that you're putting into this. Like you have no obligation to do this whatsoever, and like I'm not gonna not like appreciate that in a way that makes sense.
Okay,
I understand where
thank
this
you.
is coming from as a fellow like musician who's like, I don't know how to ask for these things. How do I value what I'm doing? But like, it's okay. You don't have to wonder. I'm just gonna do it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thanks for taking that pressure off me. Thank you, Jarmix, for the follow. Okay, I want to say fantastic job. The next time that we work, we'll dive into deeper, or I guess other topics. Like I said, this is way deeper than I had expected us to go today, but I'm so happy that we did. In my head, I was going to work through like how do we source sounds from like places on the internet? How do we organize our computers to make sure that we have like efficient workflow and just like basics of like a DAW in general. But I'm so happy that we got to have this conversation and go deeper than I expected, because this is like the meat and potatoes. And as like an engineer, like a nerdy music person, this is stuff that's like really fun and interesting to me. So I'm really happy that we got to have this conversation. And thank you so much for asking great questions and being a good sport and even getting quizzed at the very end.
Of course. Thank you so much for doing it. Can't wait to do more.
All right, let's wrap it up. Take it easy. If you have any other questions, you can ask the Discord, and I'll try to respond there. You can DM me, and let's continue this. Should we keep doing this on stream, or should we just run it through Discord? I think stream. I think this format was pretty okay, and hopefully between now and next week, I can figure out how to listen on Discord and do this at the same
I think
time.
this format was good.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Alrighty. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part, and hope we learned a lot. And
yeah, and if you need any help with trying to like balance stuff,
yeah.
I work from home, and you can just like hit me up.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm glad we're helping each other. I like that. All right. Have a great night, everyone. See you next week, and make some music. All right. It was great meeting you. I'm going to log off now. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye. See you later.
See ya.